Welcome.
We ain't afraid of no ghosts.
This is your number one podcast for ghoulies and ghosties and long-legged beasties. Bringing you everything you need to know about things that go bump in the night and interviewing the personalities behind them. Make sure your doors and windows are locked. Now, here are your hosts, your ghost hosts, Scott and Julie.
Hello and welcome to the Paranormal Project. Hi, Julie. How are you tonight?
I'm good, Scott. This is my favorite time of year. It is fall, which means Halloween.
Halloween, yeah.
Halloween, yes. Very excited.
It's starting to get a little cooler, which always puts me on edge. But, I could be getting a hurricane right now in Florida, so I'll put up with it. So
hopefully anyone who has relatives in Florida, we're definitely sending good thoughts to them.
Please be safe. I have family down there and friends down there, so for sure.
Mm-hmm.
We have a really great guest today. I'm so excited that Joy is going to be with us today in the studio. Joy was such a huge help to me when I was opening up to mediumship. And let me tell you, for anyone who's done this, at least like I did, this wasn't around back when I was, 3 and 4 years old. This came on with a vengeance. And I needed someone to help me sort of put things in order and learn how to control it and understand what was really happening. Not only that, but she helped give me the confidence I needed to do what I do.
Mm-hmm.
So she's here and she's going to tell us about everything she does, and she's got some great stuff going on. So Joy, welcome to the show. There you are. How are you?
Thank you.
Hi, Joy. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. Waiting for the pumpkins.
No,
Halloween. Are you excited? Halloween is coming.
Halloween has always been one of my very, very favorites, and I am a big fan of going to Salem, Massachusetts for Halloween.
Oh, well, I live just 15 minutes outside of Salem, Massachusetts.
Oh, yes. So you get to do it every year.
Yeah. So at any time, actually.
Anytime. Probably
It's
she
a
stays
fun
away
place.
at Halloween just because of you can't get near the place, I think.
Right.
I've heard.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough getting in there unless, you've made reservations, stay at a hotel or something. It's quite difficult. But yeah, it's a very unique place.
For sure. Joy,
Yes.
I was just saying, you were such a huge help to me opening up, and you're still a huge help to me.
Well,
You
good.
have been my I don't know if it's spiritual coach, psychic coach, whatever it is, but you're a medium. You're also a shaman, and you helped me control this ability, this gift, whatever you want to call it, that I have. And you do that for other people, right? I mean, this is what you do, right?
It is what I do.
How did you start? Where did this come from? How did this start with you?
I had a few very interesting things growing up where, like when I was 4, I told my parents about Constantinople and women wearing beautiful colors, putting slippery, smelly stuff on my skin. Later on, finding out that, that would be like harem life. Okay, so I had some interesting memories, but nothing really clicked together. And I used to work in wildlife rehab, and I went to the park that I worked at one point, and they were all yelling that they had to leave, but they needed me to work on this hawk that was in the hospital. And I went in the hospital and I saw a dead hawk on the counter who was just eyes open, flat, no breathing. And I touched him and he perked up, and I put him down and he flat. And I realized very quickly that as soon as I let go, he didn't he would die pretty much. He would stop breathing. He would turn blue. So I picked him up and I just did my chores of the day holding this big red-tailed hawk. And 3.5 weeks later, he was released, which was just amazing, but I didn't understand it. And it confused me. I just had nowhere to go. I told people, they thought I was crazy. I had no idea. And then it was a few months later, I had an osprey that I was taking to Tufts. And as I was driving, I stopped by my uncle's house because he's big into birds of prey. And he's like, oh, we have to go see this woman. And we went to see this woman. and she was a Reiki practitioner. And she's like, "Oh, can I just do Reiki for a moment?" And I'm like, "What's that?" I'm like, "You want to touch him?" Like, okay, he's a hawk, but okay, I'll hold him. So I held him, um, and he was calm. And he was so nervous before then, and he was calm afterwards. I'm like, "Okay, what is this?" And I need to know it. She's like, "I think you already do." So I started my training because of that. And later on, I worked in veterinary hospitals. And, I have to say, so much of my training came through animals. It was crazy. So, but when I got more into it, I got into the Reiki, and then I started getting into the shamanism. And I went on a ghost hunt. And all of a sudden, I realized I could talk to people and they could answer me. And that was just mind blowing. And I loved it. And from there, I just submerged myself in energy and shamanism and spirit and channeling, and just loved it. And
So you were an
I
adult.
have been, what was that?
You were an adult.
Yes. So I started,
Hi, Marion.
oh, okay, tell you what year it is, you'll know how old I am. And that's not
No, you don't have to tell me.
no.
No,
I was in my 20s.
Hi, Timothy from Ontario.
Great to have you with us.
Thanks for watching. Hi, Maria.
Hello.
Yeah, and Mary. Here's the thing. I thought I was the only one. Here I am in my, 50s, and all of this is happening to me. But you always hear about people that have been doing this since they were little. Julie, you were little, right? you this is like a whole life thing for you.
It's been a whole life thing, absolutely. And, I remember talking to my mother about it. And my mother had said to me, she verified it. And then the next thing she said was, "We don't talk about this." Because you didn't. I was born, I have no problem saying I was born in 1955. And I remember I was probably about 8 or 9 when I was talking to my mother, because I remember in my preteens, I would have precognition. And that sort of kind of came and went. But I've always been an intuitive. I've always been an empath. But my mother acknowledged it, but she also acknowledged we don't talk about that, because you just did not talk about it in the day. So I just sort of lived with it. And I would call it my mind's eye. Never having any kind of training, not knowing we had a third eye, I would just naturally call it, in my mind's eye, I see, or in my mind's eye, I know, to the point that my husband, who never really believed in that kind of stuff, very down to earth steel worker, after a few years would say to me, "So what's your mind's eye telling you about this?" He really learned to respect it.
Yeah, it's interesting. And so you dove into this, and all of a sudden the universe started coming to you, right? Because you've done some great things. You've worked with some amazing people. You've worked with some great organizations, Circles of Wisdom, which is in the Merrimack Valley in Massachusetts. You were with them for a while. You worked with John Holland. Did you do his events with him? You would go and hold the mic and that kind of thing.
Yes, I used to manage Circles of Wisdom, and when I did, we promoted John in like there was a 3 event tour, and there was one event we did. It was in Connecticut, and it was about 800 people. And I was his MC, and I was also a mic runner. And you know what? It was great. It was so much
Were
fun.
you there when he was in Boston at the Heinz with Sylvia Brown?
I did not see that one. No.
You did not see that
But
one.
I have seen Sylvia Brown.
Yeah. Well, that's where I saw him for the very first time, was with Sylvia Brown. And it's funny because I met her and she looked at me and she said, "You can do this." I'm like, "Get out of here."
What's wrong with you?
Yeah, hey, old lady. No, but never believed it. And that was what has to be 20 years ago or more, at least.
I had a similar story, if I may.
Yeah, sure.
I went to a psychic, and I was about 17. And the woman said, "Aren't we a strange bunch of coconuts?" I'm like, "What?" And she took her purse and she dumped it out all over, and lipsticks are rolling around. And she found me a card for a 1-800-900 psychic hotline. Said, you need to call these people. They'll train you. She's like, I say that when I find someone who's just like me. So kind of like your Sylvia Brown.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Absolutely.
funny.
So,
Except
Joy,
I don't know how about,
can you
I
talk a
think I would have trusted her more than the 1-900 number. I don't know.
Absolutely. Yes.
I'm not
Yes.
sure that was the best place to go.
Yeah.
But, oh, Julie, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's all right. You know, it's that little time thing there, a little time warp. I would love to hear more about shamanism. I don't have an in-depth knowledge of it. I kind of, have brushed. I think I probably know what everyone else does know about shamanism, but I would definitely love to hear about what you do.
Julie, before we do that, I just want to say one thing, and
Sure.
I definitely definitely want to talk about that. But Joy I talked to Joy a couple of weeks ago, and she suggested that we give away a couple of readings, and
We have something to give away tonight. That's right.
And we
Yes.
do. And
This is our early trick-or-treat gift to all of our fans.
here's
Absolutely.
the trick. We lied. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
A few of you will get a treat, and the rest of you are just going to get the excitement of watching.
Absolutely. Okay. So what we did was anybody that downloaded my ebook, which was Making Contact, the Guide to Mediumship, which we mentioned in the last show last week with Chris Brown, we said we were going to give away 2 readings, one from me and one from Chris. So we're going to do that now. And I wanted to do that with you on the air because we have a surprise, and Joy has said that she would also love to give away a reading herself. So we are not giving away 2 readings tonight. We're giving 3. And, I want to do this at the very beginning because you know what? At the end of the show, I'll be like, oh my God, we forgot to give away the readings.
Absolutely. Yes.
Let's
Between
do
the 3
that.
of us, we'll all forget.
So what we did, I'm going to bring up my little screen here. We have this little wheel with everybody's name, and everybody's got two options. So we put both, everybody's got 2 chances to win on this wheel. So what we're going to do is we're going to spin it. Now, this first one is going to be with Chris Brown. So the first person is going to be Chris Brown. Don't worry about your name, your number, because you downloaded. I've got your email address, and we'll reach out to you for sure. So here we go. First one for a free reading with Christopher Brown.
Oh, the suspense.
Melissa Blackman.
Congratulations, Melissa.
Congratulations.
Melissa. And I actually met Melissa in Michigan. Melissa's here today. I think I saw her in the chat. Melissa, we'll be in touch with you, and we'll get Chris Brown your information so he can set that reading up with you. All right. Next one. I'll tell you what. Let me do mine. And then because you were the third one, we'll see who's left. All right. And Melissa, if you come up again, we're going to have to move
Yay, Melissa.
This is for here we go. All right. So here's a reading with me. Let's see what we get here. Melissa. All right.
Are you kidding?
Melissa, stop taking over the show. No.
Oh, Melissa.
I got to do it again. All right. So we're going to ring it one more time. All right. Antone.
Congratulations.
Antone, I don't know if you're in the show tonight. Even if you're not, it's okay. I have your information. We're going to reach out to you.
I did see him. He's here.
Is he here in the show?
Yes, I saw him.
That's great. Perfect. All right. So Antone and Maria. Maria's going to be with Chris and Antone. Now we're going to pull one more because Joy is going to be offering a reading as well. So if we hang on one more second, I'm going to spin the wheel. Let's see. Who's the last lucky winner? John Moen. Congratulations,
John.
John. I don't know if you're here, but don't worry. Again, I will make sure we get your information to Joy so that she can reach out to you and do a reading for you. So I'm very excited, John. You are going to really enjoy your time with Joy. She is spectacular. And Chris Brown is really very good too. So I'm very excited for everybody.
And our own Scott Allen is really very good.
Yeah, he's all
So
right.
all three of you are winners,
come on.
honestly.
Right.
Rumor has it.
Rumor has it. I don't know.
All I can say, Scott, is ribbon candy.
Ribbon candy. Did I tell you that, Joy? Did I tell you that story?
No.
Oh, this is great.
Where were we? We were in Michigan.
We were in Michigan. Yes.
And there was a woman that we were speaking with, and she is certainly an intuitive, but she's not really but she does a lot of like automatic writing, and she and I connected quite a bit when we were in Scotland together. So she said, you know what, this doesn't happen to me, but I'm getting the touch on my face. I really think it's your mother, Julie. I think it's your mother. And I don't know what she was saying. She said a few things, and I said in my head, I said, look, if this is really Julie's mother, can you give me something that would mean something to her? And then instantly, and it wasn't a reading. It was just a thought, and I said, I just got ribbon candy. I said, Julie, I'm getting ribbon candy. I don't know what it means, but I asked her to tell me it's ribbon candy. I mean, random. And what did you say?
And I said, it is, oh my God, it's my mother. Because for my mother, it was not Christmas until she put that ribbon candy on the table.
Wow.
Ribbon candy was that special to her. We had to have ribbon candy every Christmas, and it got more and more difficult to find. So it became a challenge to find ribbon candy. She always found it. And it was very special to her to have her ribbon candy at Christmas and share it with us. So it was just, I was gobsmacked. Although, I wasn't surprised, to be completely honest. I wasn't surprised because I've seen Scott do readings and words have come through and people are just bowl me over with a feather. So, but
so
when it happens,
for whatever it's worth, I'm more like, really?
And when it happens to you, it's kind of like, whoa. Yeah. And of course, Scott and I are friends, so he would never read me and I would never ask him to read me because he knows too much about me. Then there are things he doesn't need to know about me.
But something like that, why would that even come up in our conversation?
It wouldn't.
You know what I mean? It's just so random. And that's what makes it so beautiful.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. So anyone who got Scott, Joy, or Chris for a reading, you're all absolutely all winners, and it is going to be fantastic. We would like to have, definitely, give us some feedback afterwards. Give the show some feedback afterwards. We'd love to hear it.
Great. So, Joy, shamanism. Tell us about that, because I'm really interested in that as well, and I don't know that much about it.
The word shaman actually means the one who walks between the worlds. And from every different indigenous culture back through time, there was always a person in the tribe or the culture that was the one that people went to for advice, for what do we do with the crops next year, for, oh my God, I have this weird thing on my leg. Whatever it was the different types of advice. Could be medical, it could be therapeutic, it could be, our enemies coming, or are we in danger, or where do we move to follow the herd, that kind of a thing. So, but when it came to bigger things, the shaman would journey. Journey means, if you ever gone on a guided meditation, it's a form of a journey. So it is going to, your body doesn't go, but you can have an experience somewhere else where you can see, you can feel everything without having your physical body with you. Typically, if you were to go to a shaman, the shaman would say, find out your troubles. The two of you would lay down, touching side by side, arm to arm, leg to leg, all the way down. And you would lay there while the shaman would journey for you in your energy field and come back and give you that information. That's not quite my style. I consider myself a contemporary shaman. I've learned multiple different types of shamanism, from Mongolian to Incan, Peruvian, Mayan, Native American, like all different types. And but for me, I consider myself a contemporary shaman. I find for myself, if someone says, "Oh, I see that you've had all of these things happen in a past life," well, okay, but that doesn't always really click for me that way. So I teach you how to come with me, where we go together and I navigate you. Meaning, I tell you when to turn around, what to see. There's someone coming towards you. Who is this person? So it's more than a guided meditation, because a guided meditation is usually pre-recorded, that sort of thing, whereas I'm in there with you. So I can see, and I also can validate your experience. And that's how we can heal things through time, through bloodlines, through ancestral, if there's a pattern going through a family, if there is a phobia, if there's things like that. So there's just fun things like that. But that's just a portion of what I do. I mean, I really am, I will listen to what someone's has going on. And once they are finished talking, then I will jump in and just fly with it. And I will go from here, like way deep. And then sometimes we'll journey from there, sometimes not. Sometimes I don't let them talk at all. So sorry, I asked you a question and now I'm going to stop you before you say anything, because I have a whole bunch of stuff. So it's fascinating, but learning how so many different cultures did healing work. Like for the Mayan culture, they have something called the Munai key. And Munai means energy, key means love. I said that backwards, but you get the drift. And that is like the rites of passage of becoming an adult. So every other week we had a major attunement. So I used to teach that, and that was super fun. But that was just, you really get into those different cultures and how they saw the world, and bring it back to our world. And you see how all that stuff still can make sense and still can apply to your life. And it's awesome. I love what I do so much. And it is such a pleasure to work with all different people from different places, and being able to help a lot of times I also train practitioners. So people who are ready to be helping other people, and I'm guided to give them tools to work with their clients that they're not my tools to use. But it's tools like, okay, well, I feel like you can do this for this, and then this can happen for this. And, just to help and build and grow. And yeah, it's fascinating.
Now, how did you learn that? I mean, where did you study to learn?
I studied under a shaman who was actually not that far from me. So I studied, and I was there basically all day Monday and all day Saturday for years.
Wow.
And it was great. And then from there, I took my training and where I was led, and then started going into, it's a good reminder, make sure my phone's off.
That's my son's friend, and they think they can call anytime when I'm on a show. So there you go.
That's great.
Little 7-year-olds. No. Anyway.
So, so then I just kept finding, I feel once you're on this path, you need to follow what's shiny. And I use the word shiny a lot because I think being shiny is the best you got. And that's the real you, your authentic self. And if you find something that is like, ooh, what is that? Okay, that's where you want to go. That's your next step. If you're looking for your next step, you got to go follow what's shiny. What makes it so you can feel what's inside of you start to glow? So that's what I did. And I followed, and I found people from different cultures and different delineations, different backgrounds, and show me, teach me, what have you learned? And then I studied through, I've mastered a whole bunch of different types of Reiki, a whole bunch of different healing modalities and things like that. And I, like a lot of people here probably. And the key is to bring it all together and find out with everything you've learned, what is it that you have to offer and how to put that together, which is beautiful.
You and I have taken a couple of journeys together. And when I say that, I mean, like, not physically, it's all been
So I missed Scotland.
It was great. We had such a good time.
It was nice. It was really nice.
Different type of journey. Okay, gotcha.
But we've done that. We've done that. We've gone to places together where I was seeing things and you were validating what I was seeing. And we've done other things too. Because I don't know if you remember, I asked you once about astral projection. And because you do that, and I'd love to talk about that too, but we talked about astral projection, and I said, I don't know how that works. And it wasn't what I thought it was, but what was fascinating to me was that you took me to a place I had never been, but you were very familiar with. Do you remember that? And you said, what is at the end of the hall? What is there when you turn left? And I was seeing it and telling you, okay, there's the office. If you turn this way, it's a storage room. But somehow we were doing this together. We were in this frame of mind that we were able to take this journey. Now, I didn't leave my bed. I didn't leave my chair or wherever I was sitting at the time, but we were able to see it. And it was fascinating.
But even for places I haven't gone, I have some colleagues that I work with missing persons and things like that.
Yes.
And that for that, I'm a navigator. So for that, like, these are places I haven't been, and okay, now I want you to do this and do this. And so it's like I'm the middle person. I'm the controller. It's kind of interesting. You know what I mean? I call myself the navigator for it. So I kind of found my position within that. And then I help other people project to where they need to be. So it's interesting.
And do you sit like a drone up above and, where do I go from
Sometimes.
here, that kind of thing?
You can. It depends. The cool thing about doing projection is once you start doing it, you can control it. You can be the drone. You can be on the ground. You can look it up at the ceiling. You can really fine tune where you're going. And it takes a little training practice with your brain to be able to move that way. It's kind of like lucid dreaming. Lucid dreaming, you can learn how to have some control in your dreams, but it takes a little bit of time and practice to be able to have that. And the same thing with this type of work. But it is fascinating that you can absolutely, you can remote in and see different places. The government uses it all the time.
Which I think is really fascinating. And I've heard that before, that they do. And even, I don't know if it's this not the FBI, but the
CIA.
I kept thinking CSI. It's not CSI. It's CIA. I couldn't get the word out of my head.
Those CIA black ops people.
Yeah, they do, and that's what's so. When
fascinating.
you think, is this stuff real? Because I think I went through that a lot when I first started to open up, and you realize that they're using it in our government. To find things out. That's incredible, really.
It is.
Absolutely amazing. So
George, what is lucid dreaming? It's a term I haven't heard before.
Lucid dreaming is when you learn how to have, like we talked about with projection, you can learn how to position yourself and see things from different angles. Lucid dreaming is when you have some control over your dreams. Instead of just watching yourself do something, be it in the third person or the first, because you can show up either way, then you can. I have a couple of clients who actually called me into dreams when they were having bad dreams.
So you're in the dream and you can control it, because I ask this because I have always been able to do that naturally.
Oh.
Always. My again, going back to my husband, because you tell him everything. Yeah. At one point I was telling him about a dream, and he looked at me and he said, "You don't dream. You have epic motion pictures."
Yes.
And then I told him something and then something happened, and then I had to go back and I had to fix it, and I fixed it in my dream. And he said, No, you can't do that. I said, "Of course you can. I just assumed everyone could do that." So I'm really fascinated now by this lucid dream thing
So you have
obviously can do.
Yes.
I just assumed everyone could.
Some people spend years learning how to do what you have really naturally, which is beautiful. But yeah, you should look into it more, and it will be a great validation for you with the dreams that you've had.
Absolutely.
And that's
Wow.
it's
Wow.
fascinating. But yeah, when you're sometimes, a lot of times we have dreams about things that we need to have this experience of going through, but we don't need to have it physically. So it shows up in a dream. And having the ability to call whatever tools you need to you, or call people to you. Calling people to you is not that common, I will say. But I will say I have had clients, and a friend of mine did it too. And when I wake up in the morning, I feel like I need to call this person, but I don't remember it. But it's like, oh my God, I called you in and you came and you did this and this and this. Like I needed to call you. Apparently this is what.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. This is great information.
And it doesn't always have to be something that's profound, right? I want to visit Disneyland tonight. Well, maybe not tonight. Maybe when the weather's better. I want to go and visit Disneyland. I want to go to Disney World.
Right.
How would I put myself in that mode to be able to have that lucid dream to visit? Because I don't know that I can control what I'm dreaming once I'm out.
Right. Well, everything, the strongest tool that any of us have is our intention. And the more control you have over your intention, the more you're able to do things like put yourself in a certain place. So if I were to want to project there, I would probably listen to some music that would be reminiscent of that and have that playing in the background, and maybe start thinking about it before I were to go to sleep, and set some goals for myself, and have a great notebook and pen that writes, and have everything right there so I can take notes of it. But yeah, you can set yourself into it by giving yourself a few extra tools. It is easier. But
I've done that when I'm looking for something, if I've lost something, and I think I've looked everywhere, I don't know. So tonight when I go to sleep, right before I go to sleep, I'm going to set an intention that I want to dream, where was the last time I saw this? Where was it? And honestly, 80% of the time I wake up in the morning and I know where it is. I find it.
Julie, did you, and maybe I'm confusing this, but did you not have an experience like that with your daughter recently in a diamond?
Yes, it was a diamond earring. It was a diamond earring. And my husband and I had given her diamond earrings for her 60th birthday that she wore she's 32 now. Every single day she wore these diamond earrings. And she went into her apartment and realized when she was washing her face, one of the earrings was gone.
No.
And so what was really strange was that that day I went and I found a St. Anthony's medal on the floor in my condo. Now, I had purchased the condo about a year before. And now what's very important to understand is it was immaculately clean. And the owners before my condo were of the Jewish religion and extremely devout. So they would never have had a St. Anthony's medal in the house, in the condo. I have, to this day, I don't know where the St. Anthony's medal came from. I keep it. And so I picked it up and I thought, I'm going to hold on to this because someone I know is going to need this. Someone I know is going to lose something very dear to them. And I put it on the dining room table. Hours later, I got a text from my daughter. I'm in tears. I lost one of the earrings that you and Dad gave me for my 16th birthday. And so she said, I said, did you look in your car? Did you look here? She said, I've looked everywhere. Chris is going to look again. And I said, okay, this is what I called her. I said, this is what I want you to do. I found this St. Anthony's medal today. I want you to pray to St. Anthony, ask St. Anthony to use that medal as an intention to find that earring. As I was typing this, as we were talking about this, she was walking out of her apartment down the stairs. The street lights came on. It was in the winter. It had snowed. There was a snowbank and the street light glittered on something. She picked it up and it was her diamond earring.
Oh, I love it.
So it was,
I love it.
just, is it coincidence? Who knows? I like to believe that it isn't. So I keep that St. Anthony's medal in case anyone has lost anything. I have it for you.
Oh, fantastic. But also the word coincidence is shared energy. That's what it means. So we use it like it's ironic, but ironic means something different. Coincidence is, yes, it is, everything is connected.
Absolutely agree. Yes, absolutely. As my friend Barbara and I always say, how many coincidence does it take when it's not a coincidence any longer? When people, the word we believe, is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 10? How many is going to make you a believer?
Oh, it's perfect.
Absolutely. Yes. Oh.
Can I jump in the chat for a second? Is that okay?
Please.
I can see that.
Let's see.
I lost it now, but there was one that was about had any of us studied lucid? Not actually, back it up there.
Monroe's Institute Gateway.
Monroe Institute. I did not. I actually got it naturally as well. So I just started doing it, and then I started just teaching people through navigating them on how to do it. And it's actually quite interesting. But no, I didn't actually go through that. I think is it Maria on the very top one? Said she can wake herself if she doesn't like the direction her dream's going. That's a great skill.
Absolutely. Yes.
So yeah,
I do the same thing. Yeah. No. I know this isn't good. I'm waking up now. And I will just say, Julie, wake up. And Julie wakes up.
I actually say ding.
I like the ding.
But sometimes I'll hear ding.
I call myself by name to make sure I'm listening.
But it's funny because I'll hear ding, and then I'll be like, oh, time to wake up. Oh. And so that's kind of one that you can set that intention and program in there for yourself if you want to step out of a dream, which is quite interesting.
Very interesting.
Kind of interesting. Yes. That is fascinating. So what would you say is the majority of what you do?
I train empathic people. I train, which I know, right? Which I think I could probably say I'm talking to everybody here. So being empathic, I took on way too much energy, and I just wasn't feeling safe. I wasn't feeling happy. It was too much. I was overwhelmed. I couldn't figure it out. So I went to class after class after class, and I was finding that what I was being told to do I went on an investigation for like a ghost investigation to learn how they protected themselves. That's why I went for the first time, was I wanted to know, how do you not take on everybody else's stuff? So I spent, after going through everybody else's, I am like, okay, so I put myself in a deep meditative state. And I asked, I'm like, okay, nothing's working. You guys gonna help me here? What is it that I can do? And I pieced together my own way with help. I don't take all the credit of how to manage my own energy and make it so I can feel great no matter where I am, no matter who I'm around. I can feel badly for someone. But when you're empathic, you can walk by somebody who's angry, and all of a sudden, what makes you angry can start to fire up. And you can now you're angry too. Now, depending on where your psychic abilities are, you may know that why this person's angry, or you may just you may just all of a sudden have it feeling it yourself, or someone's sad and all of a sudden you just feel depressed. I mean, you feel all those different things. So once I started just really paying attention to that and figured out my own way, I realized, someone told me, oh, just shut off your aura. Well, that's not an empathic person. They don't know, an empathic person can't shut down their aura. You can't zip it up tight because we feel like we're squeezed. It's uncomfortable. So I'm training people on skills. Now I have a bunch of skills that I use on how you maintain and clear your energy on a very regular basis, and how you can see that, okay, oh, that person has a headache, rather than going, oh my God, my head is killing, things like that. Yes. So yeah, I really my focal point are empaths. And I work with them on many different ways, and then interpersonal relationships, because we, as empaths, we hold so much more. Like the average person has this much emotional ability, and you can't even see how far my arms have go out for what an empath can hold. And our standards are different, and not our standards, but our capacity is different, and how that fits in with people who are non-empaths, and how that they can be in our lives and things like that. So I see American Road Warrior in there. Is that why I have too much energy? Because I'm very empathic. Yes, we hold tons of energy, tons and tons.
Take on other people's energy and hold on to it as if it's ours until we learn how not to do that.
Yes. So it's not so much that we absorb energy from other people. We source our own most of the time, unless we're not doing well. And then we can do that. We can absorb. But usually other people who don't have enough energy will grab towards us. We are the givers. We give and we give and we give.
Oh
we're
my
not
gosh,
so great
yes.
on receiving. And if you think about it from an energetic standpoint, we're full of energy. So receiving would be sometimes energy, sometimes it can be too much. But when that happens for a long time, then we can run into the problem where, like you see this with the empath and the narcissist not having their own energy and needing to not borrow, they don't give it back, glean.
Yes, that's a good word.
Glean energy from other people. They will find that match happens for a reason, and that's because we have too much, they don't have enough. But they're also an overpowering personality where that energy can kind of like scoop out ours, and then we are left with nothing. And that's where you find empaths not doing so hot. And it happens a lot. So I train people as far as that goes as well, and how to be able to keep your energy, how to be you, how to not to overgive in a relationship, and be able to thrive. So
yeah, it's a fine line. It really is. In my entire lifetime that I've been an empath, honestly, it's taken me a very, very long time to learn that.
lifetimes sometimes.
So, and there are times also where I say to myself, I know what I'm doing. I know I'm giving too much. I know this, and I need to pull back a little bit from it. But I think being an empath, it's difficult. It really is difficult. And I think it takes a lifetime of training.
It does. But once you have the skills, then you can shine regardless of what's going on around you.
Yes.
And when you reach that point, which I'm sure you can speak to, that all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, I'm good. Do you know what I mean? But that switch,
absolutely.
when you hit that, you know it. And I know you know it because I can see it on you.
Yes.
Like I can see who's empathic when I meet them. I can see within their energy field whether they have the markers of being an empath. Also, going more into spirits, being empathic usually means that we also have the markers that spirits can see, and they're gravitated to us because of our energy, because we have so much. So we are kind of like the bug light.
Yes.
And spirits are like, ooh, let's follow you around because you can help us because you have the markers. But a lot of for how many empaths there are out there and how many who know how to help spirits, it's a very different numbers.
Absolutely. Yes. Julie says, the older I get, the less I believe in coincidence. That yes, Julie Griffin, I agree with you 100%. And I'm sure Joy does too. Absolutely. Well, apparently Scott is having some technical difficulties. So we're just going to keep moving on and having a nice chat.
Absolutely. We're good for that.
Let's see. American Road Warrior says, wow, thank you. Makes sense. Great. I'm glad that we are.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, right. It's fascinating. But being empathic is something I would never trade for anything else. Because you're empathic, you also get to live in full color. And that is awesome.
I absolutely agree. I mean, I know different religions will say different things about you. You have to experience the sorrow to really experience the happiness. We have to have sweet in order to understand sour. We have to have sour in order to understand sweet. And I would not want it any other way, to be perfectly honest. I mean, I think when I experience joy, I experience it. When I experience grief, I experience it, and that's just part of life. And I'm really glad that I was born an empath, honestly. I think it makes me a better person.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you. I agree. And also, I feel that if you think about it, the experiences that you've had, and I'm talking to everybody,
Yes.
you somewhere along the like we quantify whether things are negative or positive, right? But we have journey points that we go through that we are when we come here to learn certain things. But whenever we go through anything that we consider traumatic, we always meet somebody after the fact who is going through the same thing, and we are the person in the right place at the right time to give them exactly what they need. And it's, we talk about coincidence. There's no coincidence. I mean, I guess there's huge coincidence in that if you use the word coincidence as shared energy.
Yes.
Like it actually means. So I really have looked at all the things that I have struggled with in my life come up in my practice. And when they come up, each time they come up, and I'm sure there are some practitioners out there too, that you get another chance. And even if you have, it's not a case where it's a session. I mean, you're meeting somebody else who's going through the same thing. You have the opportunity to work on yourself again. Like PTSD is your body over and over again trying to tell you when you don't have closure on something. And if the opportunity never knocked on the door for you to be able to clear it, it would just stay stuck. And our goal, that's one of the big goals of the shaman, is to clear away everything we don't have closure on. I mean, you figure when you have a great experience, you don't hold it in your body. You just have a great memory and you feel good. When you have an experience that's not great, then you hold that until you can come to terms with it, and it will keep knocking. And yep, we medicate for that in the West. But really what it is over and over again, we get a chance to clear away more and more until it's non-issue, until your body doesn't need to respond physically in pain, which is one of the only things that we pay attention to when our body speaks.
Yes. My daughter is actually a mental health worker, and she said to me at one time when we were talking about holding on to pain, she had said, allow yourself to feel it for 10 minutes. Feel all that pain for 10 minutes.
I say.
After 10 minutes, anything else is self-abuse. And so our mental health workers are telling us this. She is a licensed therapist. So great to have one in the family.
Oh, that's wonderful. And I could not agree more. I usually say 15, but 10's better. What I do, and I'll give you guys a tool, which is, I'm big on giving tools. I am big on you being able to heal yourself. And I'm a navigator, but you having the tools is always good. So everybody, I'm sure you are familiar with, in London, they have the red phone boxes.
Yes.
For the payphone. You know what I'm talking about, Julie?
Yes, absolutely.
Nicole, yes, definitely. I do that very, very frequently for soul retrieval, sure. But if you draw out the phone box in front of you, open up the door, step in, close it behind you. It's smaller, it's close to you. It's not that big. So I can't figure out which way I go here. Yeah, so not that big. But go into any emotion you need to. If you need to yell, scream, kick, you can do that. You can let it out. Whatever the emotion is, and if you're in overwhelm, there might be a couple emotions that come up, but there's no way you can stay in there longer than 15 minutes
love
because
that.
you will
Yes.
oversaturate. It's too close to your energy. It's in your energy field. It's too close to your body. So you're just going to be like, oh my God, I'm done.
And that's perfect.
When you open it up, you step
Yes.
back, you close it, and then you clear it.
I
And
have
I just
rooms.
run my hand down the front.
Mhm.
I snap my finger in the middle, and that's that. And that, what that does is it leaves all that emotion in there. And as empaths, we have tons of
Yes.
energy, but when we are in strong emotion, people feel it.
So true. Well, Chanel is telling us that we have less than 5 minutes to go.
Okay.
So that was a quick 1 hour chat.
I know, isn't it? Time flies when you're having fun.
It certainly does. So if you would like to just let our audience know where they can find you, what you're up to, your Facebook page, anything that you'd like to let them know and how they can get in touch with you, that would be great.
So I'm in the process of redoing my website. So I had pulled it down, but I put it back up for the fact that you guys are here. So if you go to joycostanza.com, there is a sign-in page, and I have something really exciting coming up. So what I am going to be offering is a subscription. It's not a lot of money, and it's going to be something live on Mondays. I will reach out by probably with an audio on Wednesdays and Fridays. And it's a way to start building your vibration over time, clearing stuff out, and learning some of the big stuff. So we'll go through a whole lot of things. And also, I'm also coming out with virtual classes that will be big question Q&A. And big question means you write me your big questions, and they can be big. I'm ready. And I will answer them on the fly. And all of that stuff is coming. It is stuff I am currently working on and writing. I'm not writing big question Q&A. That's going to be on the fly, but the rest of it I'm writing up. So if you go to joycostanza.com, where it says contact, and you put in your name, your email, put in your telephone number. I will be texting for those who are in the US and are able to text. I like texting way better than email, but we will do both. And tell me what country you're from as well. But yes, I will then be reaching out as far as when I'm launching and what the details are, and make sure that you guys don't miss anything.
Fantastic. It has been great talking with you, Joy.
It has been a pleasure.
We've had a great talk.
Yes.
And I think the audience really enjoyed it. We've got some great
super
comments.
glad.
Yep, great comments. Scott is still resetting his router.
Oh no, poor Scott. Apparently, now I believe everything happens for a reason. So
there we go.
I did just see a big question come up that I can't see anymore. Can we bring that back for 1 sec? Or do we not have time?
Not sure, Chanel. Do we have a minute to bring that question back?
You had a negative thought about someone in a situation pop in your head. Instead of listening to the thought, you try to ignore it later. Is that true? And kick yourself for not listening.
Okay, we have 1 minute for you to answer that.
Oh gosh. Okay, wait. Negative thought about someone in a situation pop in your head. Okay, when I have a negative thought that comes into my head, what I do is I grab it and I decide what else I'm going to do with it. I'm not going to send it out there in the world. I'm going to use this for healing in the situation, and I'm going to bring it back in. And that way I correct it, and I don't put energy out there that is not energy that I want.
Great.
Thank you.
Again, thank you, Joy, for being on the show. And thank you, everyone, for sending in your questions, because I think sending in questions, comments, it makes it so much more exciting for everyone. So
yes, I do too.
So hopefully, maybe we'll see Scott before we do our final wrap. Not really sure. And I'm not sure who our guest is next week. So check our webpage, check our Facebook page, check the website, and you will find out who next week's guest is. I would have to look at my calendar, which is in my office in the other room. So that's it. All right. Thank you so much. And we will see you again next week. Joy, again, it's been wonderful.
Thank you very much. And thank you everyone for being here and participating. Loved it. Love to hear from you guys. And hopefully our paths meet again soon.
You have been listening to The Paranormal Project with Scott Allen and Julie Finn. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. While you're there, leave us a rating and review so others can find out about the show. Stay haunted and go out there and explore the paranormal.